Hello, welcome back to my channel. I'm Elspeth, and today I'm going to be painting the portrait of another wonderful mystic in my little mini series. I'm going to do Chani Nicholas. Last painting was a fellow peer of hers, Jessica Lanyadoo, another astrologer, and I actually started talking about Chani Nicholas and saying they have some similarities, and then I stopped myself and I thought, how about I just paint both of them and then we can see if they do have similarities or not. Anyway, there are so many wonderful people in the world to paint that I might as well just start chipping away and painting all of them. I've got nothing but time and paints. I've got another block of beautiful Arches watercolor paper on the way, so yep, no limits at all. I'm going to paint Chani Nicholas today and I'm quite excited. I kind of surprised myself with that one. I was listening to her speaking on a podcast with a couple of her co-workers, friends, on her podcast called Down to Astro, and they were discussing Pallas Athena, I think. Anyway, it's all fun, wonderful stuff, and yeah, let's see what happens when I start painting her portrait. Alright, I'll see you on the page. Alright, lighting the candle to open the call with the energy of Chani Nicholas. So I spent a couple of minutes just tuning in because I want to get clearer. It's sort of addictive, the feeling of clarity and being in tune, and so I want to feel like I'm hitting my marks just a little bit more each time. So I sat down and closed my eyes and just meditated on making contact with Chani Nicholas's energy, and I saw a close-up of her right eye, and she wasn't wearing glasses, and I saw her swimming and taking a deep breath and submerging and diving underwater, and it feeling really invigorating. And I saw the corner of her eye, and I felt her awareness of her coming into, you know, aging, like getting a little older. And I saw the corner of her eyebrow and her eye. That was just all I saw, and it made me feel quite emotional. It was like maybe she was watching her daughter or something, and it was beautiful. That's all I could see was the corner of her eye, almost as if someone was sitting right next to her, like her wife, and I was seeing what her wife was seeing was the corner of her eye and her eyebrow, and Chani just gazing out, sort of watching her daughter. And you know, when eyes glisten, when you get emotional and you tear up a little bit, or your eyes just naturally get a little reflective when you're feeling like a happy emotion. That's what I saw. It was really quite beautiful, and it was like an intimate, sacred, quiet moment. So that was interesting. It was a really sort of a human moment. She's quite electric, and you know, wears bright colors and speaks very clearly, and you know, she's quite slick in her videos, I think. But in this moment, it was more Chani, the human being, the woman. And I could feel in her body she was strong, she was fit, and she was just having sort of a moment of I don't know. She was happy and she was aware of her age, which I can certainly relate to. Yeah, so let's see. I'm just going to start blocking out the features of her face, and then I'll just start talking whenever I feel the impulse. But actually my instincts so far are, it's kind of quiet, and it's quiet in here. I wonder if she preserves her energy. Let me just... She has a real buoyancy to her, but there is also a love of solace, and she has a lot to do, and spending time alone is like a juicy delicacy these days. I feel her up high, looking out to a beautiful blue sky, and perhaps from like over a little bit of a mountain range. This is kind of surprising me, the quietness that I'm feeling. Okay, now I'm getting 26. So 26 years old. And I'm feeling like things are really starting to reveal themselves to her about where she's going. I'm feeling friendships. Feels pretty pivotal. It feels really fun too. And this is when she's starting to weed herself out of sort of a party atmosphere and actually hone in on the world that she's been inhabiting is starting to feel constrictive, and she's not fitting in it. But around 26, it really starts to pinch. And she starts, something starts unlocking and it feels like she's getting some real momentum on this new path that is opening. There's a little bit of noise out in the hallway, but I'm gonna persevere anyway. I'm feeling I'm tasting snickerdoodle cookies, and there's like a creative feeling. It feels, her energy feels really good at this time. Then I'm also getting 28, and I'm hearing 48. And 46. 48 feels really good. 48 feels like the nice sort of a color blue, like a lapis. It feels really gorgeous and sparkly. I'm not sure that she's quite there yet. Let's see, 28. Why 28? That felt very pivotal, but it was like kind of harsh. Like 26 was when she really started revving the engine on career ideas, and things started to unlock and really sort of start revealing themselves. 28, 27. Okay, I gotta zoom out a bit. Now I'm just kind of getting blocks of color. Like, what does it mean just to say 27 feels yellow? Okay. I'm just gonna backtrack for a second so I can get a sense of like what's important. I'm feeling like I would like to outline her hair with this gorgeous magenta. Let's get some boldness in here. Beautiful soul, beautiful. Very funny, and I'm seeing her as a kid. I'm seeing her as her mum sees her. As a child. And the strength and the passion is right here in her hair. Gosh. Intensity for sure. So I'm picking up like similar to Jessica Lanyadoo, where I said her brain feels like Grand Central. Well, Chani's mind feels sort of like an airport. But there is this beautiful spaciousness where it is really calm, like a desert. And you know how when you're in a desert or driving along a hot road, you can see that wave of the heat wave, which looks like a mirage, and it looks like there's a wave of like glistening water. That is what I'm seeing when I look to her mind. Absolutely stunning. Really beautiful. So I feel like, yes, it's busy, but it's not chaotic. It's very well organized. It's there's a real sense of majesty. Like her mind is majestic. It feels like she is so well prepared for this life and this appointment as a very well-known astrologer in the mainstream. And the colors feel very cool, like Aquarian, sort of Gemini colors. It feels like cool, sparkling air and a heat wave. So that kind of feels like there's some, I mean, I'm getting Leo. I'm not trying to read her chart. I'm just trying to articulate the, okay, I'm back and I apologize, but I'm not even going back to see what I was talking about. I had to answer the door, and you know, that's what makes this authentic in real life, is all elements just participating at once. That's okay. What is interesting about Chani Nicholas is that I don't know what her sign is. I think that she's made a point not to advertise it. I personally love to find out what astrologers' signs are. I don't know, just performing market research myself. Like, all right, is this a Capricorn that's telling me what's happening this week? You know, I am sort of aware of it. I don't know, find it interesting to know what lens the information's coming through. But I don't know what hers is, and that's fine. And I could guess, and I could be wrong. There are just so many ways it could go, but I think she has like some prominent Virgo and Leo and Aquarius, and you know, it's kind of also not that important. But it's interesting. Why does she keep it so private? I think it's up there with, you know, I don't know very much about her besides the fact that she has a wonderful relationship with her wife, and that seems like a very special connection that they have. And she's been candid about her upbringing. I think it was maybe a cult sort of communal atmosphere that she was raised in, and she also had a wonderful like a sage, a woman who taught her about astrology and really opened her eyes to it. Oh my apologies. The camera just fell and the door knocked and all sorts. I was just talking about, I don't know too terribly much about Chani's personal life, and I guess that's why we're here. We're getting to know the energy behind this very impressive person. Okay, so I'm back to seeing her as a kid, as the way that her mum observed her, and she's about 8. Very strong sense of self, and I almost feel like a touch of jealousy from her mum about how in tune with herself that she is. vibrant, knowing, engaged, but also with a healthy dose of perspective that she is here, but she's not of this world. And a very strong, almost feels like Capricornian. This is funny because it feels like I don't normally reference zodiacs so much when I'm reading, but with her it's like in the same way that sometimes I see colors attached to words or sounds, I'm seeing the descriptions, like the adjectives that I'm getting for Chani are like, I wonder if it's sort of like how she describes things or how she might see things. Like this Capricornian energy around her as she was growing up, like 8 to 12. I'm feeling the presence of a strong Capricorn. And it grew her ambition too. Her ambition to feel independent and solvent. And I'm feeling that there was a real sense of, it's not chaos, it's more like a haphazardness, like there was too much trusting from the grown-ups around her that things would fall into place and be all right. And that refined a desire for her to have more control and to have more assurances that things were going to turn out well and be all right. She did not enjoy the leaving it to chance aspect of her guardians. I feel that as a mum, this is something that can be a little bit, it comes up as one of the beautiful challenges. She's very good at, she's a very good mum, first of all. But I think that she's aware of her temptation to overdoing it when it comes to course correcting with parenting. She really has her eye on the prize. That feels like her words in terms of it's a real balancing act, and it feels quite ironic that things have come so far around in her fortune and her individual power and autonomy that they could go sort of head in a direction towards what she was sort of trying to leave, you know, trying to escape, trying to work against. So yeah, it's kind of interesting. She's come to really have a different point of view and appreciation. She's turned those resentments that she had in her upbringing to be like, I heard the words like portals of power. What does that mean? Like springboards these were like, I'm hearing her say like data points. Data points. All right, I feel like the words are going too fast and I can't really understand what the information is. So I'm going to pivot again and just kind of zoom out just to a broader feeling. Very strong sense of destiny here, very strong. She's strongly guided and she's accompanied by so many ancestors, and there's a wealth of knowledge and just inherited knowledge that she's not even sure where it comes from at times, but you know, she welcomes it, she invites it, and she incorporates. She has a very good, I feel that she's quite disciplined and a little bit strict. I'm feeling like an access point into feeling balanced and spiritually in tune is feeling quite a strict sort of physical regimen. I feel there's like, it doesn't feel like relaxed walking, it feels like power walking. I feel that her stress can be untamed. Her anxiety can wreak a bit of havoc, and so she is very vigilant. Oh God. Okay, so I'm here, I'm seeing her stretching, and there's a lot of intensity to this. Intensity to her drawing her breath and exhaling, and then that sort of turns into a sparkly, like, optimism. Did you hear that car alarm outside? Oh good, it just turned off. Very cerebral. Whoa, just accidentally got her chin. All right, I would like to see something else. I'm now feeling her father's energy. And it feels, I just heard no contact. It feels like an empty, like a landline, and there's no one at the receiver. Okay. And let me just check what's the energy with her mum right now. No, that kind of feels distant too. And I heard, I'm ashamed to say. I definitely feel it's warmer around her mum. I feel like there's a lot of love for her dad, but it feels like I'm hearing like no contact zone, and it's like a dead entry, like, you know, a road that's, yeah, it's interesting. There's a lot of love for her parents and her family. But I do feel like there's some... I'm hearing the word empty. Empty. It could be that there are some pockets in the relationship with her parents that don't feel full in terms of like rich parental relation, but it feels more like she's had to acquire quite a skill in coming at it from a different point of view to develop an understanding of these people that raised her, and to open her heart to not just to forgive, but in order to sort of unlock some of the tools to being the mother that she wants to be, she had to grant them a different sort of permission slip. That's funny. She had to see them in a different way, and she had to write herself a different narrative and embrace the gifts that they had to offer her, which were enormous, albeit unconventional. And I see her as a very strong mother figure herself, Chani, and being a very high functioning, wonderful influence in her daughter's life. It feels like there's even energetic privacy around her daughter. For example, I can just see her, she looks to me about like 4 years old, and she's in a dress and she has her hair in a top notch, and like her head's down, and so it feels like even her face is sort of protected, and that's totally great. That's wonderful. Like, I'm not trying to pry or anything, but it's like I feel this tenderness and protection from her mums, and there could be a little boy as well, like a baby, but the family brood feels very protected, and it feels like it's really important for these kids to have a radically different experience. And strangely enough, she can't escape running up against memories lately that have been coming up from like where she was at her kid's age and what was happening, and like, just how did I survive that? What was going on in their heads? What was, just considering how thoughtful she is as a parent, and how, wow, it must have been nice to feel so off the hook as her parents. But I think that she has come to understand that it's sort of like an openness to different ideas and different ways of living that is not grounded can equal like a toxic sort of neglect. But she's very proud at her own determination that she's had over the last, I'm going to say 6 years especially, in coming to this new vantage point, because she doesn't want to have resentments. Resentments is like when she's trying to exercise and she's had too much salt. It feels like she understands that having a clear spirit enables her to, flex more spiritual muscle, and she does not have any interest in holding on to stale resentments or any victimhood that was left over from her childhood. That's not to say that she doesn't have a lot to heal, but she's very, she has a lot of clear intentions on what she wants to work on, and yeah, she has a lot of really fine-tuned purpose. A lot of intentions. And so her wife helps her to ground and to get back to that plateau part of herself that is that heat wave, that beautiful, majestic, reflective heat wave, just vibrating above the land. That is the symbol for Chani. Okay, here are some beautiful things that have come through her the last few years. She's become a real connector for people, and she's been able to unlock and cash in on quite a few different things that were on her wish list. And she absolutely thrills at being a mentor. She loves the aspect of her work that feels like teaching. And these are her weekly videos. She feels like she's getting better and better at educating the populace. Not just helping people to become control freaks in their own life and like, what's going to happen? Are we going to get married? Or am I going to get this job? But trying to situate people's understanding of historical and contemporary aspects and become much more informed about their role in this time-space reality. She's really here on purpose. That reminds me, she had a book entitled You Were Born for This, I believe. And I don't think that she you know, it was like right around the time of the pandemic. I think she probably started it before that. But all of the events that have transpired since she, you know, when she wrote that book, I'm getting that it felt like it was like dictation, like she was taking notes, and it just sort of like really flowed through her. But she could not have possibly imagined how relevant all the material was when she was writing it. It's funny how at first it was like so quiet, and now it feels like there's so much talking, I can't get it out fast enough. Okay, I just heard Mikado, and I am seeing art, and I also hear Barcelona. And I'm getting some beautiful travel opportunities for her and her family that are going to really enrich her and make her feel her heart is just swelling on these trips. Sorry about that. That's some Detroit realness. I'm feeling a residence overseas too, and it could be looking for a little hidey hole, like a little place to go and be with each other as a family. And I'm feeling, it feels deep red, so that feels like Spain to me. It feels very important spiritually, and in her heart it feels like there's going to be some traveling with her wife and their little pod. I feel strongly there's a daughter, but I also feel the presence of like a baby boy. And I'm seeing a beautiful green. You know the fruit feijoas? They grow in Australia, but it's that kind of green. It's a beautiful green, like in tapestry. And she's enriching her knowledge here. And she's just in awe of the history. It's like she's in some really old castles or something. There's tapestry, there's it's like maroon velvet, it's like grey stone, and I can feel her swimming now. 48 is going to be a fantastic year. And actually, as she gets older, 62, like her world is really opening up at quite an enormous rate. She's really hit her stride, and she is really enjoying tailgating isn't the word, but bringing people with her, and she can feel the traction and the movement of she's corralling her people with her. It feels incredible. Like, is this how empires are started? That's how she feels. She can feel it. I feel something health-wise. I can feel like migraines. Feels like an electric current that goes through her forehead sometimes. And once again I see her stretching and using her breath to really, it's like she's trying to exert some power into expelling whatever this is. It feels like a strain. Personally, this has been a really positive positive, incredible time, incredible time of growth for her, personally and professionally. But of course, as we all know, the world has been going through massive trauma, and she did see it on the horizon astrologically, but it still takes her breath away. And rather than get bogged down in it and getting really distressed, she channels it into, okay, this is why I'm here, and this is how I can help. And thank goodness for the resources that she has. And it's like she's at a communication tower, and she's broadcasting, and it's like she has this second chance. Like in this life, she has this chance to communicate on a large scale, and to remind people and to redirect people back to themselves. And she's been extremely successful so far into permeating the mainstream consciousness, and she feels like she's I hear the word basic, but you know, like she's some sort of conductor, or she's a channel, like in wartime, you know, directing calls, you know, those women that would plug in and plug out like the telephone lines. She's communicating from like her tower, her position, and the worse the news is, the more she's able to plug in and break it down. And she feels very useful. She feels very like these urgent times are yeah, this is her time, this is her season. She feels very like applied in her work. It feels good. Feels really good, and not in any kind of exploitative way at all, but like in a shepherding way. Like she's able to really be of service in a meaningful way that is going to get much more beautiful and easy to enjoy once this sort of blows over, the really tough part that we're in right now, especially in relation to Gaza. That really is like a nail in her foot. But she feels like she's very grateful to be where she is, and to be able to be part of the influence in mass consciousness. So yeah, fury and disgust met with purpose. She's feeling very tapped in right now. All right, my goodness. I want to clarify just a little bit around this area, just blot it out a little bit. And then I'm going to come back and refine it. Let's see, I want to put a little bit of cream color in here to soften this. Let's bring this out a bit. Well, that was lovely, and thank you so much for watching. And I look forward to getting this portrait into just a little bit of a finer point here, but I'm enjoying leaving these a little looser. I feel like you can feel the energy. Anyway, I hope that wherever you are, you're in good spirits and you have something delicious to eat. And I hope the astrology works in your favor this week. Sending lots of love. Bye.